Hi everyone, my name is Grace Wagner and today I'm going to be talking about emergency management theory. What is it and does it exist? Okay, so to start off with, I'm going to be explaining what emergency management is. Emergency management is the management function charged with creating the structure within communities to reduce vulnerability to hazards and cope with disasters. So, the vision of the emergency management officials is to promote a safer, less vulnerable communities by helping citizens cope with hazards and disasters that occur. So basically, emergency management protects communities. They prepare and coordinate activities necessary to build and improve disaster-struck areas. They do all this by following the 4 phases, and the 4 phases include mitigation, which mitigation is preventing future emergencies or minimizing the effects. Preparedness is preparing to handle an emergency. Response is responding safely and accordingly to an emergency, and recovery is taking the proper steps to recover from an emergency. Okay, so now that you have an idea of what emergency management is, let's go over what a theory is. So, a theory is linked ideas intended to explain something. They can be tested to provide support for or challenge the theory. So this basically answers the question, does theory exist? And because theory is a set of ideas on which activity is based, and emergency management is a set of systems based on 4 phases, the theory does not exist. There is no single theory that is currently credited to an emergency management. It would be basically impossible to develop a theory that would be able to capture every single variable that is associated with a disaster. So if a theory was created to try to explain every aspect, it'd be useless and it would almost like not be explaining anything at all. This is why using one single theory would be more beneficial to give the discipline meaning. So even though one certain phase of emergency management is not universally accepted, after doing some research, I learned that since World War II, emergency management focused primarily on preparedness. So this kind of goes hand in hand with preparing for the enemy to attack, kind of like preparing for the disaster to attack. So in my opinion, preparing for a disaster and planning on how to utilize your resources is one of the most important steps, because if you're not prepared and you don't have the resources, then you're kind of stuck. So I personally think that preparedness is one of the most important steps in emergency management. Thank you for watching, and I appreciate any feedback, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.